I want to go to Mr. Sokol. Mark, I'm going to spotlight you. Take it away, sir.
Okay, I'm going to make this really quick. So I'm here at MUFON, PA. Everyone's actually at dinner right now, so we'll have the place literally to ourselves. And this is just a one-night event here. So the conference is sort of winding down, but we're at the Sheraton, Bucks County. This was the main speaking hall over here. There was about 150 people in attendance. This is the first conference they've had since the pandemic. So it's been pretty exciting. Nick Pope, our very own, was here. Travis Walton was actually watching the conference and signed up, and he plans to attend APEC in the future. We have our APEC sign over here, and there's been quite a bit of interest. People are using the QR code on top, Tim, that you made, and are signing up for the conference. But Travis Walton actually was talking to me the whole time, asking questions about Jarod's presentation. He seems pretty knowledgeable. Over here on this, on our table, we have just some of the scientific papers. It's a great contrast to have, talking about lights in the sky in there, and over here we're talking about building those lights in the sky. Some people were very interested in this. We actually had a couple people who wanted to come down to the lab and took down my information, planned to come down for a tour and possibly working with us. And this, I'm going to be presenting this at APEC probably on a different event, but this is the gyroscope machine inspired by Mike Gamble. We have now 4-inch gyros, and we have them mounted at a slightly different angle. These are 90 degrees to what they were before. And these are much more powerful than in our past setup. And they swing back and forth using the same servo system we had before. So this we actually got this running at the lab earlier. It does inch along. It needs some fine tweaking still in order to finish up to get the maximum amount of thrust out of it. The presenters had their own little tables here. There was t-shirts and signs for sale. You can get posters from Travis Walton, signed posters as well. They had lots of t-shirts and stuff. They started putting all that stuff away because we are at the tail end of this conference right now. And there was a planetarium here as well, where you could learn about all the stars. That's pretty much what's happening here in Pennsylvania at MUFON, PA. And I'll catch you next time at the next APEC conference with further updates. Oh, Jarod.
Hey, yeah, I was just wondering, did you hear of any speakers there that really stood out to you? I mean, other than Travis or Nick, or any things?
There was one speaker that I was very excited to hear from, and he was actually the only one who didn't show, who was going to talk about UFOs and how they disrupt communication and electronics. And that presenter didn't show up. But most of the stuff that goes on at MUFON is lights in the sky. A UFO landed over here. This is amazing. We're finding radiation. So it's not really like as engineering as we are. They're more like, oh my God, they exist. This is amazing. We're like, yeah, they exist. Let's build them. So I kind of feel like a little egotistical maybe, but yeah, we're like a couple steps ahead.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of the traditional UFO community is very subjective, right? We've cross-pollinated a lot more with the SCU, and they are, mostly PhD scientists. So
I mean, half the people at the SCU are people that come to APEC.
Yeah, and then we have a lot of, and I see the guest list. I don't see all the I don't see all the chat windows
on where they are to each other, because they understand each other. I mean, most of the rest of the public don't. So they create these conferences where, the rest of the public doesn't understand it, but they do, to show off, or validate each other. Like, we're going in the right direction. At the end of the
day, it's a feel-good sort of scenario. The other night, I was actually attending Alien Con live event that had in Newark, New Jersey, with Nick Pope moderating, And George Yosukoulos couldn't make it because he finally got COVID, but he was there on the screen on Zoom. And Travis Taylor from Skinwalker Ranch actually made some very interesting revelations. He said that Skinwalker Ranch is a lot scarier than the TV show portrays, because a lot of the stuff that happens is not caught on camera. The camera crew don't stay the night. So there's a lot of stuff that happens that just there's no cameras. So, you know, they have to live it. It still happens. And then some guy, some heckler got up and was screaming at Travis, trying to find out what happened when they drilled at the end of the last season. They were drilling a hole, and that's where the season ended. And he couldn't take the cliffhanger from, they actually ended up pulling him out of there with armed guards. That was the highlight of the whole event. That's
right. You have to wait until the next season. You can't jump the gun like that. That's just not right.
Ed Travis is chuckling a little bit. Like, I think they probably found nothing, but you're not going to find that out till the next season.
Yeah.
I saw they were analyzing the data of like where their helicopter was, and you know they had it on some
they got radiation.
And then they found ones that they didn't create. They were just there.
He said they saw microwave radiation coming from all directions. It wasn't directional. There was radiation burns. There were people that ended up in the ER, and not everything was caught on camera because just the cameras weren't always running.
Interesting. Well, so what, I mean, other than I guess what you call the validation, the subjectivism, what are some of the things that jumped out at you with MUFON this year?
Mostly the age of the people. It's they're mostly much older, and there is a lot of, you know, tapping yourself on the shoulder and saying, yeah, I was right. You know, because UFOs are moving into the mainstream. We have on Tuesday, there's the Congress is having a hearing on the stuff at 7 p.m. Eastern, talking about UFOs and UAP with the Undersecretary of the Navy giving their preliminary report. So there's a lot of that going on. Also, if anyone is in the area of New Jersey, on Sunday night, there's going to be a total lunar eclipse. This is visible throughout America, but we're going to be running the 3-body alignment experiment that Bob Greener talked about with looking at spectral lines. The strength of spectral analysis on different materials should be going up by 2 orders of magnitude during the lunar eclipse. Also, we're going to be casting different kinds of metals and looking at their crystalline structure. The crystalline structure during a 3-body alignment is supposed to change per Bob Greener's presentation that he gave at the last APEC. And we're going to be testing that this Sunday night on the 15th at around midnight at the lab. If you want to come by, if anyone's in the area of New Jersey, you're welcome to come by and have a beer and some barbecue and, you know, watch the eclipse through our 8-inch telescope and, you know, hang out and watch the experiments unfold. I think Jeremy Rys plans to live stream that event as well. We might get Bob Greener on to talk about what's going on if he wakes up on time. That would be like 4:30 in the morning his time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, that's going to be really interesting. And beer and barbecue. So yes. Yeah, it's the total package. It's the total package. There you go. Yeah, it is interesting. Well, Mark, thank you so much for going to MUFON. Thank you so much for coming live from it too. This is really exciting stuff. So we're the only conference that covers other conferences because we're kind of crazy.
We crash other conferences.
We crash other conferences. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you have anything else to share, or should I go to?
Yeah, let's move on to the Alcubierre guy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so let me do that then. Hopefully, I can do this without botching everything. So okay. So let me do this. I'm gonna mute everybody out. Okay. And guys, I guess I'm gonna start this video here. Give me just a second.